that, at least we always have a foot in there, regardless of which party is in power, and it's okay if you don't have a response to that.
No, that's a really good question, and one of the things that we tried to work on was institutionalization while we were in office, understanding that while so many people see LGBTQI plus issues as partisan or a part of the left wing of any country or a party, that it shouldn't be. Fighting discrimination and violence and creating a society that works for everyone is not partisan. It should be work that we're all engaged in. And so I think that's part of the challenge now. How do we depoliticize our issues? There are countries around the world, and Diego talked about this, like India and Pakistan, which obviously have right-wing governments and lots of issues. So certainly not sort of like trying to look over that. But those two countries have frameworks that protect trans people, transgender person protection rights acts. In Pakistan, it's being challenged in the Sharia court right now. But that speaks to just the different ways in which the communities there, the Quadrisera community in Pakistan, the Israel community in India, have shown up to advocate for protections to the government. And they listened, maybe certainly not fully, but in a way that actually creates something, a foundation for them to operate from. That's the kind of stuff I'm interested in. How do we export some of that knowledge from our community members from areas like that back to the West or other parts of the world where, certainly like in the U.S., the Republican Party and the right wing here don't see LGBTQI plus issues as a benefit. And if you talk to any elected officials privately who might be a private ally of these issues, if they're a Republican, they'll say, we get no political benefit from standing with the community because as soon as we do, we get shunned by other parts of the right wing. So, maybe that's not our job to do that, but, we are in community with people who are more conservative, maybe religious folks or whatever. Just sharing some of that knowledge maybe could empower them to do some of that work. But that's the sort of work we'll have to do. And then just briefly, we had a special envoy for LGBTQ rights in the Biden administration. We had one in the Obama administration. Technically, in the first Trump administration, there was one. There was the title was on the books, and there were people doing the work, albeit not well. And so one of the things that we're going to have to really think about is how do we, given that USAID is, no longer in existence, how do we, we have another administration again one day, how do we bring people to the table to say, here's how we want to recreate a role like that is, less, immediately divisive to someone on the other side. How do we invite those folks in so that people see that the structure that we created actually benefits everyone? And then hopefully that lasts when that administration is out of power. But it's an open question and certainly open to ideas.
Well, I'm just going to also add to that. I think what this administration has done a really great job of is getting rid of the working people like Kent and others who worked administration after administration. And so they also helped keep things from going completely off track. They've gotten rid of all people like Kent across the agency. So when we win back the White House, we're going to be missing hundreds of thousands of allies who have worked within government in order to get it back to some way. USAID is a perfect example. There is no USAID. There is, 800 people out of an agency of 22,000 who kept their jobs. You're not going to come back on January 22nd in two years and create an agency all over again. So how do we also start thinking about what does foreign assistance look like with a new Democratic administration? Start planting those seeds now, not January in 2 years.
I think we need to start. Like one thing I struggle with. Okay, I'm a Democrat. One thing I struggle with us is that
We mobilize, but we don't organize. So you're going to find these other groups are very grounded. Like you will find a kid who is 2 years old and they're like, I'm Republican. So they will grind you like religion. Like they will make sure you know where you belong up to when you grow up. So we need to start strategizing on like, it would be nice. I don't like it when every time someone comes, then they're using us and dumping us. Like they're like, okay, get out. Okay, now come back. So we need to make sure that we now have, like on paper, like this is, we will always have an envoy for human rights and inclusion and LGBTQI persons in the White House, no matter which president is in, no matter what party is in. So like it's on paper, it's on policy, it's a law that even no one can actually, even Trump can't come in, even if he's like, he can't come in and be like, okay, just get out. We'll have to fight about it. So we need to strategize right now on how that works before we even get into the January 2020 when I can't wait. Yeah, so we need to, but of course this is just a small group. I don't think it would, but it would be nice for us to talk about how do we plan ahead, like how do we make sure they don't catch us off guard like they did this time.
The one thing, I'm glad you mentioned that because the bright spot is that in this administration, there's not a lot of laws that have been passed. Obviously, the executive orders have been disastrous, and the destruction of entire agencies and work streams, etc. But the best way to institutionalize anything is through statute. And right now, there's it has been introduced again this Congress. It's called the GLOBE Act. The GLOBE Act would actually enshrine the protection of LGBTQI human rights globally into federal law. It would also do things like make sure that human rights reports, which I was able to work on for the country that I represented, would reflect LGBTQI plus people in them. It would ensure that there's a special envoy always. Without that law, it makes it easy for someone to come in on day one and get rid of it. So, if there is an opportunity to pass that bill, if you're doing local advocacy, if that's something you want to do, including your advocacy work, is reminding your members of Congress or elected officials to support the GLOBE Act.
Thank you all so much for being here, panelists, speakers, those of us watching online. Thank you. Before we close out, I want to invite the Chief Philanthropy Officer of OHI, Kent Clindera, to join us on stage to close us out.
Thank you all. This was wonderful. Thank you all for being here. We really hope to talk about what we can do, and I'm leaving with some really good ideas about what we can do. UHI is a very special organization. It's really been responding in East Africa, as you heard a bit tonight. It is a sugar mama. And my job is to raise money for it. So this is a bit of a fundraiser. There's a QR code. If you want to pick up, we have these little cards. You heard in that video was a little odd with the AI. The fun part is I know all those people, and they're sort of like them. It's very interesting, but it's very real what's going on. That UHI actually wasn't impacted because we don't have a lot of U.S. government funding, but all our grantee partners do. And so we're raising funds to try to sustain some of these groups. We're also working with them to say, how do you move beyond needing UHI funding? How do you move beyond needing funding? How do you set up strategies that are income generating yourself so that you can do things, which is a key piece, I think, is going to be part of UHI's new strategy as well. But anyway, thank you all for coming, and I got your emails if you signed up. If not, click on the QR code and register with us. We're going to be doing more events like this, really trying to raise awareness about what we can do to fight back. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and let me thank our friends here, Just Bookish. This is a beautiful space. It's been wonderful. And my team here, Adriana, who has done so much work for this event, Andrew, Gary from MAC.
And I, thank you.
Yes, y'all are wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
pretty much the only hiccup with it.
Perfect. Well done.
Sweet. Yeah, I don't know if the Wi-Fi must have just crashed for like 10 seconds.